Hi, Tarun. Hi, Rajinder. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Leslie. Hi, all the other people that are sending me welcome messages. I appreciate that. Can you hear me? Can somebody let me know? Oh, good. Oh, we have lots and lots of messages and questions coming in. Okay, so I think this is the first of the webinars that I'm doing for Vnaya, and we're having a little technical issues. I thought that I was going to be introduced by Bobby, but maybe that's not going to happen. So I'm going to start straight away and get into this first webinar. And this is about summer learning and why it's important and how you can make decisions about what you need to do. So, hi, everybody. Keep getting these messages. I'll get to you all later in the question time. So a little bit about me. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for a million years. I left teaching and I now work with parents, how parents can help their children, because I understand that parents are the most important influence on their child's learning. That person just walking by is my husband, who's just leaving the study. He waved, okay. All the technical issues would be my fault today because we're having somebody from TELUS, our internet provider. He's doing some work, but I think it should be okay. I hope it's going to be okay. Anyway, this webinar this morning is going to be about summer learning and how you can use your child's report cards to help you with summer learning. Now, I'm in North America, I'm in Vancouver, and summer, believe it or not, is just about to happen here. I don't know where in the world you are, but this webinar will still be a good indication of how you can use your child's report cards to help you make decisions about how you support your child. Now I'm just going to press a button and see if I can share my PowerPoint. Here we go. Slides are now loading. There we go. Wow, magic of technology. I am not good at technology, I have to let you know. So this is what report cards tell you about summer learning needs. Okay. First of all, I have something really important to tell you about report cards, and I'm trying to tell you this in a way that you can really understand. I often give presentations to groups of parents from different countries, and one of the parents, a Mexican parent who's in the group, came up with this when I was talking about report cards. Report cards are like Mexican traffic lights. Now, I don't know if any of you have been to Mexico City. I have been a couple of times. It's a beautiful city, but it's very crowded, and there are lots of cars and other things on the road. And yes, they have traffic lights, but the Mexicans are not very good at looking at the traffic lights. And when I said to these Mexican parents, I said, look, what is it with traffic lights in Mexico City? Why does nobody obey them? Why does nobody stop at a red light? And this mother said to me, oh, it's traffic lights. They are merely advisory, which shut me up for a couple of seconds. She was saying that the traffic lights don't have to be believed completely. They just advise you to stop because other cars may be coming, or they advise you to go because it may be safe. So report cards are like Mexican traffic lights. They are advisory. They are not written in stone. The grades and the comments that your child gets on a report card are an indication of what is happening with your child in school. They are certainly not the whole story. And I will do a webinar on how to understand report cards at a different time. But remember that the report cards are like Mexican traffic lights. They're advisory. Now let's look at summer learning loss. Children are away from school in Canada for almost 2 months. And in England, it's for about 5 or 6 weeks. I don't know what it's like in Australia. It may be similar to the States as to Canada. And during those 2 months, when the kids are not in school, they lose some of their skills. This is what the research says. They lose their reading ability. They lose 2 months of reading ability. It's almost as though their reading skills stop when they leave school in June or July, and nothing happens until they go back to school in September. There's no advance. And in fact, there's even a decline. They lose their ability to read and enjoy books. And for math, it's even worse. During the summer, they lose 2.6 months of learning in maths. So it's almost like a 10-month school year is reduced to 7.5 months. So there's a lot of unlearning that happens during the summer. Now, teachers know this. I knew this when I was a teacher. So when you went back to school in September, you spent the first few weeks trying to catch students up, trying to get them to where they were at the beginning of the summer. And sometimes this catch-up can take 6 weeks. It can take a little less than that, but it can take up to 6 weeks. That's a whole range of education time which is being wasted. And you don't want this to happen to your child. You want your child ready to go the moment they get into school after the summer break. And there are things you can do to make that happen. By the end of grade 6, if your child hasn't had any help during the summer, this is equivalent to a whole year's learning loss, a whole year. So it's going to cause problems. Let's move along. Okay. So how can report cards help? And there's 3 ways that report cards help. You always get a report card towards the end of your child's school year. You don't always get a teacher conference, but you get a report card. You need to look at those report cards as advisory in more ways than just the grades or the comments. And these are the 3 ways you need to use them. First of all, look at how the results on this last report card compare to the previous one. If the results are better, then praise your child. Well done. Your kid has worked hard. He's obviously improved in school. And that gives you many options for during the summer because he's doing so well. You want to give your child activities, but they can be fun activities. They don't have to be tutoring, specific learning, or specific program activities. That's if your report card shows that your child is making excellent progress. And you should be able to read the report card to know about this. But what if the results are the same? What if the report card is the same as you got in the spring or in this just before Christmas? Then you have to look at what you want to improve, or what your child wants to improve. You have to look at the report card carefully and decide what area of learning, you want your child to work on during the summer, and choose that activity carefully. Don't choose too many. Choose 1 or 2 which you think are going to be useful for your child. So you can see that your abilities to promote summer learning are becoming somewhat more limited. And if your report card is worse, if there are specific problems in the report card, then you need to do 2 things. Find out why. You should still have time to contact the school and find out why there's an issue with a certain subject or with a certain approach to learning. Go and talk to your child's teacher. I know they're busy, but they should be able to find time to talk to you. And then choose an activity that can really help that specific skill that your child needs. And you have to look around and find those, but they should be available. So let's look at how they can help the second time. What about individual subjects? Excuse me. Maybe the report card says that your child needs help with a specific subject, maybe math. It's often math, actually, that children are struggling to learn. So the score on math is not very high and it's not getting better. And you may be being told, or you know, that your child could benefit from extra math tuition during the summer. And that's fine. Then you start looking for a tutoring program or a summer camp where Math is the main focus of attention. If it's a summer camp, it doesn't have to be the whole focus of attention, but it can be one of the things that they are doing in the summer camp. Or you may want to go for a tutoring program. There are many tutoring programs that are available to help with specific subjects and to help with summer catch-up. You may only need a tutoring program for a short time. If you can find a tutoring program that assesses your child's needs to begin with and then gives concentrated tuition and work in those areas, then that will be perfect for your child. So if your child needs help with individual subjects, 2 things you do there. What about the last way? The last way you look at report cards is to think about how the support is going to happen for your child. Are you going to support your child? Are you going to get a tutor, or are you going to work with local programs if you can find them? Let's have a look at the benefits and the barriers of each. If you're going to work with your child, fine. The benefits are there's no outward cost. You know your child, so you should be able to know how to approach your child and how to help him. If not, you need to find out more about that, and that's what you can do through Vnaya and through Leading to Learning. And you can set the time and the place when this work is going to happen. The barriers, of course, are stress. It can be incredibly stressful to work with your child, and especially if you're not sure what you're going to do. You can have a lack of skill. Not everybody is a born teacher, and you may not know how to teach a certain subject. You have to spend the time. If you're working full-time, that can be very difficult, and it can affect your relationship with your child, and you do not want that to happen. No support that you give your child should affect your relationship with your child. I cannot stress that too much. What about if you go for tutoring? The benefits are you're going to get the access to a skilled teacher who's going to know the curriculum, who's going to know what your child needs to learn. And it could be short term. It could just be for the summer. In fact, the best tutoring should be short term. It shouldn't be like a 5-year commitment to tutoring. The tutor should know what your child needs to learn and then teach what your child needs to learn. The barriers, of course, are cost. Tutoring doesn't come free, although it can come at a variety of levels of cost. You often have to travel. You have to take your child to the tutor, and that is a time commitment for you as well as a travel commitment. And availability. I often get asked by parents, how do they find a tutor? Now, you can Google it, and there are many tutoring programs available. There are some very well-known ones, Sylvan, Kumon, and there's some online tutoring which can help you get over the availability issues rather than having to look for a personal one-on-one tutor, although you can do that if you think your child needs it. But what about local programs? Local programs is like group tutoring during the summer. And the local programs I'm thinking of tend to be like science-based or arts-based, and they tend to be more fun-based than specific hardcore, what I call hardcore teaching and learning. Your child can make new friends, he can have fun during the summer, and he can learn something new and a new approach to learning, maybe even learn a new skill or a new subject. But again, the barriers are cost, travel, and availability. And I know in Vancouver that parents started looking for these kind of programs for their children 2 months ago. In fact, my friend wanted to get her young son into a French immersion program, and it was already booked up. So although local programs can be good and they can be fun, they can be difficult to access. Ask the school or ask your local school board to find out more. So let's do a quick review. This is about how you use your child's report card, okay? Check the overall results. Does your child need summer learning? The answer to that is yes, but your child might need a more fun approach or a more direct approach to learning. Certainly needs you to support your child during the summer. And the next webinar, I'm going to talk about how you can do that specifically. If your child needs support with specific subjects, then you need to look for a tutor. You don't want your child to be behind starting school in September. Summer is a great time to do catch-up if your child needs it. But lastly, look at who can provide support. That will depend on your means and on your lifestyle. These are all things for you to think about. And the report card can help you make those decisions. So summer learning. The big issue I have is don't guess what support your child needs. So often parents guess what support their child needs. And we all know what guessing leads to. What is 10% chance of being successful? So use your report card, use your child's report card to help guide you to provide support that meets your child's learning needs. I'm going to try and get back to me. I'm not sure how I do this. Oh, somebody's done it for me. God, I love people at Vnaya. They're so helpful. Okay. So I hope that's been helpful. Use your child's report cards. It's Mexican traffic lights. It's advisory, but it can give you some good advice and some good information. And I've given you some clues as to how to do that. Now, I think there are probably some questions. I saw some notices saying people were asking questions. So maybe if I can start answering those, that would be great. I don't know whether Bobby is going to put the questions up or whether I'm going to put the questions up. I think I'm going to do that. Let's see if this works. Ta-da! Yes. Okay. That's very nice. Thank you, Leslie. If you can get them the recording, that would be great. I know Leslie, she actually works with Kumon and she looks after several Kumon's places. Okay, next question. It says no more questions, but there are questions, I know. Let's see what can happen. Okay. Let me walk down here and see. Nope. Okay. So Bobby, I can't seem to get to any more questions. I think there were some. I saw them coming up on screen. If you can help out from where you are, I would appreciate that. Okay. Where can I find a message from Raoul? Where can I find programs for my children? Depends on what program you want. If it's a tutoring program, you decide whether you want a one-on-one tutor, whether you want to go to a tutoring program like Kumon or Sylvan or another tutoring program in the system, or go to the school board if you want a more general program to enroll your child in for the summer. Google can be a good ally in this, in looking around for local programs, and local papers sometimes advertise things. And of course, you can always ask other parents. Parents have this wonderful underground network where they know a whole range of things and a whole range of possibilities. And believe me, they know the good programs and they know the not so good programs. So I can't see any more questions. I don't know whether there are any. So okay, one more question. People can be really busy. What's the best way to help children? Well, the next webinar is going to be about that. It's going to be about some specific ways that you can help your child. And some of them are very simple. Some of them can be more complex. But in the next webinar, I'm going to go through actual things that you can do during the summer, even if you are busy, that will help your child. I hope that's answered that question. The next webinar will be coming out pretty soon. As I said, this is the first of a series of webinars that Vnaya are going to put on for parents, and I'm assuming that they're going to send out a recording link to all the parents who have registered but who couldn't be on this webinar. Okay? Okay, message. How can I help my son get rid of exam phobia? That's a big problem. And this is to do with emotional skills that your son has, and possibly the stress that he's going under in school. So I cannot answer that on this webinar. That's a whole other webinar, but it is something that I will address and I will note. And if any of you have got any questions that you have, these are the webinars to answer those questions. So make sure you send me your questions and I will create a webinar with it. Questions are in attendee chat. Okay, let me try and find out how to do this. Share your screen, share your slides, view your audience, view audience questions. No, which, I missed, there's a question came up briefly about curriculum and I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm sorry about this. I can't seem to get hold of audience chat. Which extracurricular activity can be helpful for skills development? Talking, reading, and writing. Those are the ones that are the most important. And extracurricular activity is mainly you spending time with your child, you developing your relationship with your child. Talking to your child really helps develop their vocabulary and develop their thinking skills. So yes, if you want your child to learn during the summer, you're going to have to put in some effort, but it doesn't have to be a lot of effort. I'm sure you do this anyway, but keep talking to your child. Talk to them about what they're learning. Talk to them about what they're doing. Show interest in what they're learning. Okay, I think that is the end of this webinar. For a first webinar with some technical issues, it's not been too bad. And I'm always here if you want to email and ask questions. And there's a message from somebody there saying how Vnaya can help. Well, Vnaya is an online tutoring service. And so if you need online tutoring for your child, I trust that you get in touch with Vnaya and see what they can offer. And they can offer a whole range of subjects that I do know. And online tutoring may be the perfect thing that you need for your child during the summer. But as I said, look at your child's report card and that will guide you as to what you can do. Well, thank you for being on the webinar. Thank you for putting up with the quirks, okay? And somebody said, how can you reach me by email? Patricia@leadingtolearning.com. Patricia@leadingtolearning.com. Or you can contact me through Vnaya. Send a message to Vnaya and they will forward the message to me. And I will try and answer as many questions as possible. Thank you. It's helpful for parents. Well, I'm glad it's been helpful. Thank you again for your patience. Okay, last question. No, it's just thanks a lot. So it's good. So I'm going to switch this off now. Thank you for your patience. Okay, it will get better. The more questions you ask, the more I can answer, the more I can be supportive. So please get in touch with Vnaya, get in touch with me, Patricia at Leading to Learning, and we're going to get many, many more of these webinars up to help you. Tell other parents as well, because if you need help, other parents are going to need help as well. So the more parents I can help, the happier I will be. Okay, enjoy your day. I'm going to switch this off now. I think. There we go. Leave this webinar. Ding.